Imagine waking up tomorrow and realizing that everything you thought about wealth, success, and opportunities, I was wrong. Yes, everything you've been taught about working hard, waiting for luck, or going with the flow doesn't work. But here's the good news. Just subscribe to the channel and like this video because there's a path that few know. A method that makes your mind act like a magnet for opportunities, even while others are still searching for answers. The paradox is clear. The more you ignore what everyone else does, the faster you start to see real results. And no, it's not luck, it's not magic. It's a strategy applied precisely, step by step, in your daily routine. Today you'll discover how small adjustments in the way you think, act, and decide can generate changes that even 2026 couldn't have imagined for you. Stay with me, because what you're going to learn in the next few minutes could redefine the way you create prosperity. And it starts right now. The difference isn't luck, it's mental training, the garden of your subconscious. Have you ever noticed that two people can experience the same crisis, in the same country, with the same salary, and one finds opportunity, while the other only finds sorry? Here's the thing. This isn't magic, it's mentality trained. And it's subconscious. It works like a garden, just like you water it every day. If you water it, scarcity, complaining, and fear, guess what grows? If you water it clarity, faith, discipline, and focus on create value, it begins to emerge prosperity. And you don't need to be born with a gift. You need repetition, because the mind learns through habit, not through hype. Now look at this curious thing. Most people try to attract wealth from the outside, but live with a mess on the inside. Want, abundance, but it feeds the brain bad news, comparisons, and that poisonous phrase, "This isn't for me." And then, subconscious, he becomes an annoying security guard, blocking every big idea, every new action, every plan of wealth. So the first exercise is simple. Not easy, simple. You become the guardian of what goes into your head. Like this. If a conversation drags you down, you know, you cut it off, no drama, because mentality, it's heritage. To make it practical, tomorrow morning, before touching your cell phone, write down a sentence on a piece of paper. Clarity, I am building prosperity through discipline and daily action. Read aloud twice, and for 60 seconds visualize yourself acting as someone who creates it. Wealth, studying, planning, solving real problems. Then do a 10-minute micro-action. Write down 3 ideas on how to generate value, service, product, content, improvement at work, without judgment. Because the mind doesn't change with willpower. It changes with action repeated, even when that kind of laziness hits. And that opens up the question that changes everything. If your mental garden had a thermometer, what seeds have you been planting without realizing it? Extreme clarity. Wealth does not respond to desire. It responds to decision. Let's be honest, in a way that almost no one is. Wanting wealth. It's common to decide with clarity, it's rare. Most people say, I want to earn more, but they don't know how. How much, as no for what. And the subconscious hates emptiness. When clarity is lacking, the mind fills it with fear, doubt, and procrastination. Almost automatically, you know how it goes. Wealth doesn't follow vague requests. It responds to specific commands, almost like a mental GPS. Without a defined destination, any path seems tiring. And the prosperity, it simply won't engage. Here's a point that's not obvious. Clarity isn't about positive thinking. It's about thinking. Necessary. It's not, one day I'll improve my life. It's, I'll build X per month, in Y years, solving Z problem. When you define that, something changes inside, the subconscious. It starts to filter out opportunities that previously went unnoticed. A simple example. Someone who decides to run a marathon starts noticing running shoes, training sessions, and routines everywhere. With wealth, the same thing happens. The mind begins to see paths where before it only saw obstacles. To make this practical now, grab a pen and paper, not your phone, and write down 3 straightforward answers. How much money do you want to generate? In how much time? Through what kind of value delivered to the world? Then read this every day for 30 days, even if it seems strange at first. That's normal. It's not empty self-help, it's mental programming with repetition and intention. And when clarity sets in, the next challenge naturally arises: maintaining focus when the whole world tries to distract you. Daily discipline. What separates those who know from those who thrive? Here's a somewhat unpalatable but liberating truth. Wealth is boring before it becomes glamorous. Everyone loves the result. Few respect the process. And that's where the discipline it acts as a natural filter. It's not about motivation, because motivation sleeps poorly, disappears early, and abandons you when it rains. Discipline, on the other hand, appears even when you're not in the mood, a little tired, a little unmotivated, but still shows up. And the mind learns quickly. When you keep your promises to yourself, the subconscious, he's starting to trust you. Notice how the most successful people consistently do simple things. They read a little every day, even when they don't feel like it. 10 pages counts. They organize their day the night before, even if it's just into 3 clear action blocks. They choose silence before chaos. They wake up 30 minutes earlier to think, plan, and get their thoughts in order. It doesn't seem like much, but this routine builds mentality, focus, and over time, prosperity. Now, a straightforward exercise. Choose a habit that brings you closer to wealth and makes it non-negotiable. It could be studying for 20 minutes a day. Books like Think and Grow Richer, The Secrets of the Millionaire Mind, they work well. You can write down ideas for solving real problems because wealth always follow those who solve something useful. The trick isn't doing a lot, it's doing it consistently even when it seems like little. And when discipline becomes identity, the next question naturally arises. What happens when faith sustains this consistency? Practical faith. Acting before seeing, even when everything seems against you. Many people get confused here, so pay attention. Faith isn't about sitting around waiting, it's act in alignment before confirmation. It's about getting up every day and working like someone who already decided that will prosper, even when the numbers don't yet confirm it. The mind works like this. When you act as if subconscious, it begins with adjusting behavior, focus, and courage. It's not an illusion, it's training. Like a muscle that grows under tension, not comfort. And yes, you'll feel butterflies in your stomach, but that's not a sign of failure. It's a sign of growth. Imagine someone who starts a small business or a side project. In the beginning, nobody applauds, nobody validates, nobody comments. It's just you, the plan, and the daily discipline. That's where many people give up, because they confuse the absence of immediate results with failure. But prosperity, it almost always grows invisibly before appearing on the statement. Those who understand this continue to act accordingly. Practical faith, not with anxiety. Now, something truly applicable. Start speaking and thinking about the present, not the distant future. Instead of, I'm going to try to improve my life, use, I'm building something better every day. Instead of, one day I'll invest, start by studying simple investments, such as fixed income or basic ETFs. The mind responds better to identity than to desire. It follows who you are, believes that it already is, and when that faith becomes an internal pattern, a silent factor emerges that can accelerate or hinder everything. The environment around you. Environment and influence. Your mind copies more than you imagine. Perhaps you've never stopped to think about it, but your environment, Your mind is being trained every day, whether you realize it or not. The conversations you listen to, the content you consume, the people you spend time with, all of this programs your mind, subconscious, in silence. If all you have around you is complaining, fear, and conformity, then your mentality. She starts to think it's normal. And when something mediocre becomes normal, the prosperity, it starts to seem like an exaggeration, almost a mistake. That's why changing environments is sometimes worth more than learning a new technique. Notice how certain places drain your energy while others broaden your perspective. Some conversations, in 5 minutes, make you doubt your plans, and some exchanges effortlessly make you think bigger. It's not arrogance to be more selective about who you spend time with, it's mental discipline. The human mind learns by imitation, not by intention. It copies patterns before asking permission. If you want wealth, it is necessary to interact, even if only virtually, with those who are thinking about creating value. Now let's get practical. If you don't have access to people like that in your daily life, use what's available to you. Replace some of your social media time with books, podcasts, and videos that talk about mentality, money, and long-term building. Create a favorable digital environment. Follow those who teach. Silence those who only complain. Even what you listen to in the car or while working influences your focus and your clarity. And when the environment begins to support your vision, you prepare for the next inevitable step, acting strategically and consistently. Strategic action. Transforming thought into real results. There comes a time when mindset, clarity, discipline, and faith, these things aren't enough if you don't put them into practice. The mind may be the engine, but action is the road. And it's on the road that wealth, it's really starting to manifest itself. It's not enough to plan, imagine, or study without executing. Knowledge without action is an illusion disguised as productivity. And here's the point that many people don't realize. It's not about acting randomly, it's about taking action, with purpose, focusing on what generates real value. Every calculated step, even the smallest, is like laying solid bricks in the construction of your own prosperity. A direct example. If you want to start a business, don't wait for a perfect plan. Start small, test ideas, adjust quickly. If you want to invest, start with accessible amounts. Study charts, read reports, follow economic news. Conscious action trumps any waiting for the perfect moment. And for every opportunity that arises, ask yourself, does this bring me closer to my goal of creating value and prosperity, or am I just getting distracted? Strategic action means understanding that failure is not defeat. It's feedback, it's valuable information that most people ignore. And when you act like that, with consistency, discipline, and learning, the next natural step is to develop self-confidence solid and unwavering. Now, to put this into practice today. Choose a task you've been putting off and do it for 20 minutes without interruption. It doesn't matter if it doesn't change everything immediately. What counts is training yourself, mind and body, to act before motivation appears. Use simple tools. To-do lists, timers, quick notes of insights. Each action reinforces your commitment to success. And remember, every step taken strategically is a direct bridge between your vision and the reality you want to build. And when you feel this effect, you'll realize that the next inevitable step is to strengthen your self-confidence, because those who act learn that they can overcome any barrier. Self-confidence, the silent foundation of prosperity. Self-confidence is not a luxury. It's the invisible foundation that supports every important decision you make. Without it, even the brightest plans seem fragile, and the mind finds excuses to postpone, hesitate, or abandon. When you train your mind with clarity, discipline, and strategic action, each small success begins to reinforce that you is capable. And the trick, not at all obvious. It's not about waiting to feel courageous. It's about acting, as if it already had, because the brain adjusts to the identity you practice. Every completed action, even a small one, is a brick in building a trust that no one else can destroy. Think of someone who learned a new language or started investing on their own. At first, fear, doubt, and that inner voice saying, "I'm not capable," creep in. But by putting consistency and repetition into practice, you realize, I can do it. I learn quickly. I overcome. Self-confidence doesn't come from external praise, it comes from commitment to yourself, from fulfilling the promises you make in your mind every day. And here's a simple exercise. Write down 3 victories of the day, no matter how small, and read them before bed. This will reprogram your subconscious. When confidence settles in, the mind stops trembling in the face of risk, and you become naturally attractive to opportunities that previously seemed impossible. Now, to apply this today, choose a small action you've been avoiding due to insecurity. It could be talking to someone influential, sending an important email, or making a financial decision you've been putting off. Do it with conviction, even if you feel butterflies in your stomach. The mind learns through action. And as you realize you can do it, each subsequent challenge becomes easier, because self-confidence multiplies the effect of clarity, discipline, and faith. And with that, the next step inevitably arises. Connecting all of this to a clear purpose so that each action has real meaning. Defined purpose, the compass that guides wealth. Having clarity about what do you want, it's good, but without a why, profound, even success loses its power. Purpose acts as a compass. It guides your decisions, keeps your mind steady when everything around you seems to crumble. When you know why you want to create wealth, every obstacle becomes training. Every failure becomes information. Every doubt becomes fuel. People without purpose chase after money, status, or external validation. People with purpose chase after impact, legacy, and value. And when purpose connects to daily action, discipline, and self-confidence, you begin to attract opportunities that didn't even show up before. Here's a real-life example. Someone who wants to get rich just to show off can lose motivation in weeks. Now, someone who wants to get rich to transform their family's life, invest in education, or help the community finds energy even on difficult days. Purpose gives meaning to routine, to effort, and transforms seemingly small tasks into something meaningful. Strategic steps towards something bigger. If you still lack complete clarity, stop and write. Why do you want wealth? What concrete benefits will it bring to your life and the lives of others? This simple reflection changes the perspective of the entire game, aligning every decision, every action, and every thought with something that truly matters. To put into practice today, write down your purpose in a short, clear, and inspiring sentence. Read it every morning like a personal mantra, and ask yourself, does this action I'm about to take today bring me closer to my purpose or distract me from it? The brain begins to automatically filter decisions, prioritizing what contributes to your bigger vision. And when that happens, you realize that the next natural step is to transform all that energy into continuous learning. Because applied knowledge is what sustains and accelerates success. And that's where the importance of never stopping evolving and learning comes in, to keep the growth cycle always active. Continuous learning. Applied knowledge is multiplied wealth. Never underestimate the power of learning every day. It's not about accumulating books or videos, it's about apply what you learn. Knowledge left untouched is like a bank account with no balance. It seems promising, but it doesn't generate real returns. Every insight you transform into action becomes an asset that life cannot take away. Each new skill strengthens your ability to create value and opportunities. What's the secret of the most successful people? They never stop studying, observing, experimenting, and adjusting. They know that constant evolution, it is the lever of prosperity. And the more you learn, the more your mind perceives solutions that previously went unnoticed, increasing your clarity and confidence. Think of someone like Edison, Carnegie, or Ford. It wasn't luck. It was study, testing, observation, and tireless application. They absorbed knowledge and transformed every detail into a competitive advantage. And you can do the same. Today, you can start with practical books. Think and Grow Rich, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, podcasts about entrepreneurship, articles about finance, and even short videos that teach something applicable. But be aware, it's not consumption for consumption's sake. What matters is transforming information into concrete action. Every time you apply what you've learned, you train your mind to recognize patterns, make more assertive decisions, and consciously create wealth. To put this into practice, choose something you learned recently and do it today, even if it's small. It could be calculating a simple spreadsheet, writing a mini action plan, or testing a new idea at work. Each step reinforces the mindset that knowledge, it is valid when applied, and not when it's stored away. And when you realize that learning generates action, action generates results, and results generate more learning, the last step of the cycle naturally emerges. Maintain consistency and persistence, because that's what separates those who dream from those who achieve. And it's with this energy that you enter the final loop of the entire wealth attraction process, ready to consolidate everything that has been built. Now that you've delved into these principles, the question is simple. What will you do next? Do things differently, starting today. Every concept you've seen, clarity, discipline, faith, environment, action, self-confidence, purpose, and continuous learning, only works if you act. So, grab a piece of paper now and write down one minimal action you're going to take. Even today, commit to it as if your life depended on it. And tell me, what habit will you change first? What thought will you reschedule? Leave a comment below, because I want to see you take action. Remember, it's not about luck. It's not about waiting for motivation. It's about becoming someone you love. Success and wealth are attracted to each other. Subscribe to the channel now and activate the bell so you don't miss any step of this process. With each video, you'll get practical tools, real stories, and strategies that few teach to transform your daily life and your financial reality. So go ahead, comment, apply, experiment, and come back to tell me about it. Because the path to prosperity is made of consistent actions, and you've just taken your first steps.